the arts are important for human development. The discipline of the arts, and you can't put, it's paramount. It develops you into a different personality. It develops the human mind. It develops your human spirit. So I think it's something that you just have to work on and promote constantly. I've always had an interest in the arts. I remember as a young working girl, just started working, I won the Island Prose and Verse. We had the Arts Festival. In Prose and Verse, I was the winner. And that propelled me into drama. I thought, well, I'll move into drama. And I always remember my first two roles. One was a young girl, a 16-year-old girl in love with the boy next door, Goose and Gander, and a one actor. And my second role was a 90-year-old voodoo priestess in Eon by Roderick Walcott, Derek's brother. So that kind of polarity, moving from a 16-year-old to a 90-year-old, I was just set for theatre. Okay. After that, I joined the company of players, and we did a few plays very well. Rose Slip, I remember Derek was then the journalist, a critic for one of the newspapers, and he was particularly pleased with my role as Flossie in the Rose Slip, and he wrote it up. And then we just moved on to the Trinidad Theatre Workshop, and I was really one of the founders. We started then. Walcott is exemplary. I mean, my journey as an actress, I owe a lot to Walcott. Because before that, I had no kind of training. And we trained for like 2 years before you went on stage. 2 years. There was nothing fake about Derek. It was just work, strict rehearsal schedules, improvisations. You would leave work, we were public servants or teachers or whatever, and you'd come after work. And it was just enjoyable. It was just real theatre. And of course it was total theatre because it was singing, dancing, acting. And still Derek, working with him is so special because he still allowed you space to create your role. It was not instruct. I remember even for rehearsals he would say the only way you could be exempt from rehearsals is if your mother did. That was his thing. So it was just very enjoyable working with Derek, and it was dynamic, and it was like a learning experience for a long period. I want to highlight the golden opportunities first, because this is uppermost in my mind. He has offered me opportunities which as an actress I would not normally have had. I think about going to St. Lucia. His friend, Death of a Salesman by Miller. His friend Miller was there on vacation, Arthur Miller. And he wanted to showcase what his workshop could do, and invited us, Albert and I, to come over and do some scenes from Death of a Salesman for the enjoyment of the writer. These are the things that's so special, and in a week we were able to put on some scenes that were not only for the writer but for the St. Lucian audience. We have traveled with him. Connecticut stands out because there I met Michael Schultz, a young black playwright, and worked with him very closely. Then my more recent, I went to Europe with him, and I was afforded the opportunity of working with Italian actors, with Spanish actors, and the Spanish producer, somebody whispered that she knows a bit of Spanish, so he handed me the Odyssey in Spanish, the script, and I performed in Spanish, which is a highlight. And these are things that I am truly grateful for, because they're so special. Well, Walcott is a genius. If Walcott is a genius, if he's conceptualizing a play, I imagine that he has in mind, his muse would allow him to pick people that would fit the role. I think of that wonderful team of Makak and Mustik in Dream on Monkey Mountain. I'm sure he created that for Errol Jones and Stanley Marshall, both passed. There was Beef No Chicken. There was this woman called Euphony, which I feel was very close to me, right? I think perhaps that was created with me in mind. I wouldn't say that there were any other specific rules for me, but he would think of your talent and seek to develop that talent and offer you something that suits that talent. Walcott's work has to be important to us in the Caribbean. It has to be, not only to the Caribbean, but to the world. I mean, up to now, he's still being sought after, whether it's in Canada, Italy. I mean, he is a Nobel laureate. People seem to forget this, and his work is, if you're an actor worth your salt and you're studying theatre arts, it would be amiss if you would not be studying a challenging bit of work from Walcott. We must not forget our heroes. We must not forget our important writers. So I think it's not being forgotten. His work will never be forgotten because his work is challenging, his work is special. But for me, I have reached a stage, I mean with everyone there is a stage that I prefer to see, to look on at what's happening. And my inclination goes towards film. I don't know why. I shouldn't say I don't know why. On stage there's that flawlessness and that fluidity and that precision that you must have. With film, while it's clinical, while it's precise, it's still a little more relaxing for people of my age. So I find I am drawn to film now more than the theatre. But I admire a good play and I enjoy a good play, always.